Warning, spoilies ahead.
I don't remember. It's like it was always
I
mixed
once
up.
saw a ruby playing with a child the size of a tangerine.
That's it, yeah. Or it was like I once saw a tangerine the size of a child playing with a
I once
ruby.
saw a tangerine.
Tangerine. Tangerine.
I love it. Tangerine.
Tangerine. Hi, welcome to Two Guys, One Film, a Project Nerd original show. I'm Dylan.
And I'm Dane, and this episode we watched Who Framed Roger Rabbit, a 1988 film. It was directed by Robert Zemeckis.
My man.
Oh yeah,
My fucking man, dude.
You know, do you want to talk about what else he? I mean, as if the viewers don't know.
This little movie called Back to the Future. Maybe you've heard of Forrest Gump.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe you've heard of Contact. Maybe you've heard of The Polar Express. Maybe you've heard of A Christmas Carol. I don't. He's done more. Those are the only ones I could think of offhand.
I wasn't expecting that many.
Yeah.
So, man, and this came out in 1988. It's got Bob Hoskins. I know I've seen him in other stuff. What the
Super
hell have I
Mario
seen?
Bros.
Okay. Yes.
Brazil was the one I know him from.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
God, that movie is cool.
We should do Brazil. Brazil's a good fucking movie, dude.
Charles Fleischer, who's Roger. That's Rubber Rabbit.
Robert Rabbit.
Roger.
Roger.
And Christopher Lloyd, the man himself, and Judge Doom.
Mm-hmm.
Kathleen Turner is Jessica Rabbit. Dolores is Jonah Cassidy. As far as like people in this, I don't remember a whole lot of like the older actors, like the guy that played Marvin Acme or the other guy. What's his name? Maroon.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I've seen them in. Like the Marvin Acme guy looked familiar, but
What's great about this movie, and I know we've talked about it before with voice actors for animated things, was like this is when they used voice actors that were like professional voice actors that have done other things, which is really cool. Like, yeah, you have like you have like Kathleen Turner or whatever in it, but like you had like people who were just voice actors. Like the lady who did Betty Boop was the original Betty Boop.
yeah, and you got the guy that did Droopy.
Yeah, and you got Mel Blanc who did every fucking voice on Looney Tunes. So like it was really cool, like to have like A, those originals, and B, just like straight up fucking voice actors and shit. So, and like this is gonna be a long episode because I cannot fucking praise this movie enough.
I know.
Like,
There's
I can't get over it.
I've seen it so many times.
It's weird because this is like probably the first movie we've done where like I've seen it like fucking countless times. Like I own it on DVD and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's like still one of my favorites ever since I was like a child.
Yeah,
So it's
I
nice
remember
to like deep dive into it.
I do definitely remember when I first saw it. It like blew me away because I was like, "What cartoons in live? What? How are they in the? What? How's this work?"
Honestly, it still blows me away too. Just
It's
like
pretty sick
technically.
still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we'll break that down later because I got a lot to break down with the technicalities of it.
But I always, I don't know why, I always forget that it starts with a cartoon.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, "Oh hell yes!" Like I'm always like, "Oh yeah, this is awesome. I love this."
And what a great cartoon it is, but it's also really weird because like the animation's so fluid and like the crazy camera angles, so it's like such a different style of cartoon, but it's still fucking hilarious and great.
Right.
And just like that cut to the real world where it's like, oh, you did fucking birds, you're supposed to do fucking stars, like, and then how like the mom's like giant legs were a guy on stilts with like those fucking giant legs.
It's just
like,
giant legs.
it's so, it's such a genius start to it.
Right.
Because it's like this like innocent like cartoon, and then it like just cuts to real world of like, yep, here you go.
And
this
the
is how
baby,
cartoons are
baby
made.
Herman is like a 50-year-old
40, yeah.
dude.
Got a
Like-
40-year-old body with a 3-year-old dinky or whatever.
He's like trapped in that body, and he just like walks off,
Yeah. And it's
all pissed at Roger.
yeah.
Oh,
And
I didn't even talk about what this movie. We just dove right into
Oh,
it.
yeah, let's do a little
Sorry.
quick synopsis, people.
Yeah. Sorry. So this guy, Eddie Valiant, he's that's the Bob. He's down on his luck. He's pretty much a super
Private detective.
alcoholic. He was a private detective. His brother got killed by a toon, and it messed him up. And he decided that he didn't really want to do. He didn't really want to ever work in Toontown, and it turned out that him and his brother, like that's where you go when you have an issue and you're a toon. They would help them, and they were actually really famous for it. Then Eddie Valiant's brother gets killed by a toon, and then that guy just
Piano dropped on his head too.
You know, the classic way that you would kill somebody if you were a cartoon. And so he's just pretty much bumming, and then he decides to take a job that seems like it's going to be really quick because all he's got to do is take some pictures, and then
Spiraled out of control from there. It's a whole murder mystery conspiracy of like, yeah, because he just has to take pictures of Marvin Acme with Jessica Rabbit, and then that's it. It was supposed to be an in-and-out job. But then
he gets
Roger Rabbit's so inconsolable the next day, Robert Acme's dead.
Yeah.
They pin it on the rabbit. He got the yellow paint on the rope because he gets a safe dropped on his head.
Yep.
And it's just
matches the paint on his gloves.
Mm-hmm. Which is so cool that like paint comes off of them like in that situation.
The beginning, I'm jumping back into the cartoon. I liked the how the oven was called Hotter Than Hell. And I like how when Roger has that fridge dropped on his head, and the director opens it, he's all pissed, and he grabs one of the birds, and he's like shaking it in his face, and like whips it to the floor.
Like how
like,
a bird
Jesus.
can be generated out of his head, but also exist and is tangible, which is
that you
crazy.
could grab and like be really mean to it. And I feel bad for that little bird because the rest of them fly away, and he's stumbling around on the ground.
It's crazy small details they did, which is fucking great. And like really small jokes. Like there was one when Eddie's leaving after getting the job from Acme, or the other guy. There's like a thing, it's like cows trying out for a role, but it's called a cattle
And they're all just
call.
like,
but it's great. It's like
and
a
I
cattle
love how
call.
they're
It's
like
moo.
literally like trying out as if they're just gonna be cows, just moo.
But it was funny because they're all like cows from like different animation styles and eras, it was just
like
great.
all the way from like what, like the 30s or something.
Yeah.
But there's
Which-
like random 30s cartoons walking around.
Well, I mean, it takes place in 30.
Does it? I thought it was
Yeah.
I thought it was the 60s.
I think no, it's like 33 or 40 or something like that. So it's like the prime age of like animation and stuff like that.
Now I got it. Now I'm curious. I got to sleuth it out, man.
You gotta
Oh
do it
no,
now.
we're you're closer than me. 40, like 47, 49.
Okay, yeah. And that, like, there's that joke when Eddie's in there. He's like, "What do you know about business, Eddie?" He's like, "Well," or "What do you know about show business?" Yeah. I know there's no business like a no business I know.
Yeah, it's just that like subtle, like goofy jokes,
Mm-hmm.
and I think part of that is like, I think it's like the point of it. Like you're just
Mhm.
it's just supposed to make you laugh. You're just supposed to laugh about it because I
Yeah.
mean, through the whole movie, I feel like they're kind of pitching that. Like, stop being such a wiener and just laugh.
Yeah, like you literally live in a world where cartoons exist with you.
How could you
And they're
not
like a
enjoy
whole
that?
town on the other side. I mean, when your brother gets killed by a tune, it's kind of hard
Well,
to enjoy it.
yeah, I guess, yeah, that's true. And then you just never talk to or see him again. But I mean, I don't know. How do you blame all the tunes for that?
Well,
I
that's
mean, because
true.
he's pretty specific.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he talks about how specific he was. But well, I'm jumping like really far ahead. And I liked how Eddie, when he is drinking, is using his gun holster. For
Yeah,
whiskey.
yeah. What I liked at the beginning of the movie is he never gets to drink. Like every time he's about to, something happens. Like the glass breaks, or like the guy takes the glass and gives it to Roger, or like he's out, like it's this constant, or like when he goes to the bar and he goes to like go to drink and then she like stops him
She
from doing
puts
it. So
puts
like,
her hand on the.
the beginning of the movie, he doesn't get to drink until like he gets drunk at his like office. But when he jumps on that trolley with those kids, like when he leaves, he goes, "Thanks for the cigarettes." Like the kids
Yeah.
gave him cigarettes. And this weird small detail I noticed, and I don't know why I enjoyed it so much. When they're at the bar, there's a one of the taps is like leaking. It's got a drop coming out of it, so they have a glass underneath of it.
Huh.
So it's like this like fucking glass of beer like slowly filling up just because this one tap has like a drip, and I was like, man, that's fucking cool.
It's little details like that.
Yeah.
It's cool. I didn't notice that one.
I'm gonna get a little bit into like the greatness of the animation is like they really bring in like the cartoons into the real world by like making them cast shadows on the ground, and
Yeah.
also sometimes being in like reflections and like water on the ground and stuff like that.
Or just like literally interacting with the environment. Because I've got that written down too. Where and this is a little. I'm kind of jumping a little bit, but when he goes to Valiant's place and he's about to sit in his brother's chair and he grabs the chair,
It's got the prints on it.
it's got his
Yeah.
fingerprints on it. But
Oh, yeah.
that's even farther ahead because I was thinking about like all of that, like him going to the club, going right like that right there at the beginning. It's great.
It's
you
such
know?
a good jump
Nice
into
monkeys.
the movie. Yeah. Well, wise ass.
And
Ooga booga.
dude, I would go there all the time. I would love to see shows like that.
Which is
Like
funny because
fucking
it was
Donald
like
Duck
no tunes allowed. It's just for people.
yeah.
But it's crazy to see like a Disney character with a Warner Brothers character. I thought was cool, and I
Yeah.
love how they started on Donald was on a white piano and Daffy was on a black piano, but then they switch at the end. Like I don't know, once again one of those details where I'm like, oh, they switched their colors. That's really cool.
But it was
Give
it
me
was
a
badass.
whiskey
But
on
I-
the rocks, and
and
I
I
mean
mean
nice. Tunes.
But I love that. I would love to go see shows like that.
Yeah,
Oh, they never finish. Why? Because they're always firing cannons at each
Yeah.
other. That's sick.
fucking Marvin's like disappearing ink. I'd be fucking pissed, dude. Like,
I know. I love that because he just starts cracking up. I'd be like,
it disappears. It's beautiful.
how would you
And,
like,
like-
shove that pen up your nose?
I love like Betty Boop's in black and white.
I know.
She started working there because nobody wanted to watch tunes that were in black and white anymore, and I was like, oh, that's fucking depressing.
I know. But I still got it, Eddie.
Boop boop beep doop. Oh boy, ha ha. Betty Boop's the one that goes, oh boy, ha ha.
Exactly.
But there's like, once again, there's like this crazy amount of like the tunes interacting in the real world is like when Jessica's like singing, she like grabs Marvin's cheeks and they like
Yeah.
move. And like that's such a fucking cool like once again
And like when
these
she
details.
takes Valiant's hat off of his head and just puts
And
it
then
on
his
face.
tie too, like
Yeah.
rolls the tie, like it, just genius, like how Robert Zemeckis wanted to do that of like bringing the tunes in reality. And I remember watching the DVD at special features, and I had to watch it again, but I realized in this day and age they had it on YouTube, so I was like, cool, I don't have to put it in the DVD.
Nice.
But like his whole thing was like him and the animators was like classically when like cartoons were with live action people and they've tried it before, it was always a stationary camera. So in this they wanted to like break the rules, and like that's why the camera moves, and so once again it has this realism, like it's really there, it's really happening,
yeah,
because
I
the
mean-
camera gets to move around. It's not
I
just
mean,
some
I don't.
stationary
Is this
thing.
the scene behind you? Is that his office or is that in that like back room?
That's in Valiant's office.
Because I'm like thinking about that back room. I love that part. They go in. Roger is like touching everything. He's bumping into like the lamp. He hops into that chair and like spins around it.
Which
It's fucking crazy.
That scene, there's the swinging lamp, or the lamp, and like it casts certain lights on the actors, and they fucking did the same thing for Roger. So they had to animate like him getting in light and then him coming in shadow, and like
Yeah.
it's just gonna be a constant praise on this movie of how they did that. It's just once again so fucking genius, and probably so fucking hard to animate that scene.
And even the part where he's trying to saw the handcuffs off of him, and he's just, and like I mean the handcuffs are like moving, with
Yeah.
Roger, and then he just whoop, slips out of him, and then comes
Yeah.
back and picks it up.
Yeah, you
You
mean you
know?
could have got that whole time? Only when it was funny. But I want to go back to, I love how cartoon physics apply in the real world. Like Roger drinks the whiskey and he like, gets all mad and he leaves the office, but he jumps through the window and leaves his shape in the blinds in the window,
Yeah.
not breaking it. So I love how like cartoon physics work in the real world and like vice versa. Like cartoon physics work for real people, but I'll get that later on.
Yeah.
But like another genius, like beautiful shot was when he's going to the crime scene and Yosemite Sam comes flying over the wall. My biscuits are burning. He puts his
and he
butt,
puts his butt in the
and like
water.
it bubbles and then steams, and it's just so
Yeah.
fucking cool. Like, I can't get over it.
In the bar part where Doom come or no, Doom.
I want to get. Hang on. I want to do the.
Are we past
Yeah,
the?
we're on the crime scene. You're past. You're going past that.
I'm past it. So we're at the crime scene. Doom's there too,
Yeah.
where Acme got mashed by the safe, wasn't it?
Yeah, like right on his head.
And then that dip. I liked.
Dude.
Okay, so the dip. I didn't realize what it was until he was reading, like saying what it all was, and it's literally just a bunch of paint thinner.
Yeah,
so
like
that makes
turpentine.
sense why like it just like it tears up tunes. Like because I didn't think about it at first when I was like, oh man, it's just some gross green stuff, and I was like, everything that's in there is paint thinner.
And to this day, the death of the clown shoe makes me sad.
I
It's
know.
so fucking sad. To this day, I was like,
I was
man,
like, why did you? He didn't
fucking-
do anything. Why did you do that? You couldn't put one of those holes in
Yeah.
there. I mean, same effect. It would have just melted, right?
When
You had to make a point though, and then put the glove right next to Valiant's face.
yeah, it was- and the Weasels. I love the Weasels.
I love the Weasels.
dude. Hell yeah.
Such good bad guys.
Yeah, there's like I like how there's a different one. It's almost like the Seven Dwarves. There's like the crazy
Mm-hmm.
one. There's like the smart one. There's like the dumb one with the club and a nail in it. Like it's just it's fucking great characters.
I feel like that one is supposed to be sort of like cholo-y.
Yeah,
They're
kinda-
not
yeah.
here, boss.
we're both yeah.
Oh,
So
and then the
when-
smoking one. No.
Yeah. So when Valiant goes back to his office, I forgot his name. Who plays the baby? I forgot it.
Like the baby's name or just
just the baby's name.
Herman? Baby
Herman.
Herman?
He's like smoking that cigar and it's moving around and it's a fucking genius rig that they made and it's like over the top. They didn't need to, but they did. And it's just this like little arm and it's got a cigar in it and there's a guy that can control it and move it around and like wave it around.
That's fucking crazy.
So then they just animated Herman over it. So like once again, like going above and beyond to put these cartoons in the real world, and it fucking paid off. So because like yeah, like the cigars moving around and like it's just fucking cool. And,
There,
like,
but I mean, you're right. It paid off like crazy because there's not. I don't think I've ever really run into anybody that's been like, I've never seen that.
yeah, or not enjoyed it. I haven't enjoyed
Yeah.
Roger. And if you
Like,
haven't,
boy, that
then
movie
what's wrong with you?
sucks. You
What the
know,
fuck's
everyone's
wrong
like,
with
oh,
you?
I love that movie, and I'm like, right, it's great.
Yeah, when Valiant finds Roger in his office, just the amount of shit that like Roger is like pushing around, and it's just so cool.
Yeah.
Like when he gets like thrown on his desk, and like earlier we said with like the fingerprints, and like under the sheets. Like I love how like there's like a mass under the sheets,
Yeah,
and he comes out, and like another crazy one is when Roger jumps on the bed, it like indents the bed,
yeah.
which is fucking just brilliant.
I want to know how it's done, but it's part of the magic
Yeah.
of not knowing is cool. But like I'm just so curious. Like, how did you do that? Was there like a thing under the bed and you just like pulled on it? But like that timing is crazy. And how like did they have to film it like multiple times just to get the timing? And how do you get the timing if none
So-
of that stuff is there?
This is what's crazy, and this is why Bob Hoskins was so good. They would go through it, and they would film a scene with like a rubber Roger, like a dummy to his height, so he knew where to look on each scene. And then the guy who did Roger Rabbit's voice was off camera doing the voice. Then they would take that dummy out, and Bob Hoskins would have to memorize where his eye lines were, and he was fucking perfect at it.
Yeah.
So like he would remember exactly where to look, and not only that, like when you're not looking at something, your eyes relax, and it obviously looks like you're looking in the background. So he did such a good job of like still looking like he's focused at something right in front of him. So
It's
this guy's
crazy.
He's
Yeah.
so fucking good at it, and it's like that's what makes it once again so believable. Like, because he's so good at showing that there's a thing in front of him that like you believe it. So yeah, it was an insane process how they filmed and animated this movie. But yeah, they would do 2 takes, and one where he just was like miming with something, and they actually had to like take miming classes. So like when he picks up Roger, he has to like learn how to look like it's something heavy. So he's got to
Yeah, like
kind
he's
of
like it's got mass to
yeah,
it. Yeah.
so like
yeah, damn, dude.
he's
so fluid.
good. Yeah, and
It's-
he's just so
God.
good at it. Like, rest in peace, Bob Hoskins. You're a fucking great actor, dude. Like, you
Seriously,
fucking nailed
man.
it.
Like, just goddamn. Like, I don't. That would be such a hard thing to do, and like a lot. Well, I mean, maybe not hard for the acting portion where you had to pretend, but like keeping all of that in your head, because not only is he miming where all this stuff is, but he's also got to like focus like where he's. God, it's so crazy because like I cannot think of a time in the movie where he's not like where it doesn't look like he's looking directly at Roger.
Yeah, he
or
did
like he's
such
not
a
there,
good
or like
job.
Baby Herman, or any of the tunes.
I mean, everybody did a great job of it, but
Yeah,
he was the
like,
one that had to
it's-
do it the most, and he
Yeah.
just he fucking nailed it on the head. But then the scene where the weasels come in, I love how the tunes, react to real life things, and they're holding a real gun.
Yeah.
So like it's so cool, like how they're holding like this real fucking gun and going around. And there's one thing, I don't know how they did it, when he's like got Roger in the sink because they're handcuffed,
Mhm.
and there's a part where the weasel slaps the water at
Yeah.
Eddie, and like I was just like, holy shit, how the fuck did
We'll
they
hang
do
you
that?
and your laundry out to dry.
Yeah,
And the part where Roger comes flying out of the water, there's like that whoosh.
like there's splashes. So
Yeah.
like I mean, I know some shots probably had to be like someone's hand they animated over, like when Jessica's doing that.
Mhm.
But like, how the fuck did they animate over like water getting slapped? Like it was
Right?
brilliant,
Fucking cool.
brilliant movie. Robert Zemeckis is always that guy that kind of like pushes boundaries with movies. Like Polar Express was like a huge thing because it was like fully CG animated people like in like mocap suits and stuff. Oh, he did Beowulf too. Beowulf was the same thing.
See, I never saw that one.
I only saw parts of it, but like,
Was it any good? I mean,
I mean,
I didn't
technologically,
hear.
it's
I
cool.
didn't hear that it was that great. Polar
Beo-
Express though was actually, like, I've seen it, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like big. It's not my cup of tea. I'll tell
Yeah,
you that. But
but
it's
it's-
not like the worst thing I've ever seen. It's pretty cool for what it is.
And it's just once again so like groundbreaking with shit. And even Contact. Once again, Robert Zemeckis like, trying new things and doing really well. There's like that opening scene in Contact when it's the young Jodie Foster and she's running up the stairs to get her dad's pills or
Mhm.
like his heart or whatever. And then it pulls out and it was in the mirror the whole time. So like somehow it goes through the mirror, so then it's like her grabbing through the reflection. Fucking insane shot. And then
Damn.
Forrest Gump, the same thing. Like they did like him in old footage of like
Yeah,
talking
like
to
he's just,
JFK
like-
and stuff. Like
Yeah, it just like being somehow in the background of like major like civil rights movement
Yeah.
stuff, and just major points in history, just stuff
Yeah.
going down. He's just there, and they did it really well. That's a like I could go on for
That's
the
a- yeah,
like
it's
on.
like-
There's all kinds of cool shit in that movie.
that's a
like
different ball of
Lieutenant
wax, as we
Dan, like
always
that.
say.
Oh, there's
Once
yes.
again another thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
links.
for its time, it's fucking amazing. Because I even now, you go
It's still
back
great.
and it's still really good.
As we like to say, it still holds up.
Yeah, it holds up.
I want to go back to the scene where they go in the back of the bar. There's that part where there's like the little peepholes and Roger's like, "Ooh, holes," and he looks out in
He
his
puts
eyes and
it-
it knocks over the salt.
Oh, it's a beer. It knocks
Oh,
over
yeah.
the beer bottle.
It's just like how the eyes like
Just
"Whoop."
the
Yeah. And then it's like we gotta check the probate. My uncle had a probate problem. He had to take these giant pills, not prostate,
lots of
probate.
water.
Yeah.
That always makes me laugh. I know
Yeah.
it's coming, but it always makes me laugh.
There's still so many good jokes. Just Roger's just fucking brilliant.
Is that a rabbit in your pocket? You're just happy to see me.
And once again, there's the bulging going on underneath of his like
Yeah.
coat.
And
You
like
know?
when he sticks his head out, he's like shoving him back in there.
Yeah. And the great part when the judge is in there, no tune can resist shave and a haircut. He's like
I
in
know.
the
I like.
background freaking
I like
out.
how Valiant's just kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, that's stupid.
When the
and
judge,
he like turns around and he's just like,
yeah. There's that part when the judge like sniffs the album that he was dancing to, and he's like, "He's here!" And when he throws it, and it hits the weasel in the mouth.
oh,
He's such a menacingly weird.
I know,
He's like a thin Uncle Fester in this one.
right?
And
But
that
like
part when he
meaner
like
and creepier than Uncle Fester.
when he
Like
takes
evil
this
Fester.
poor like veteran's like sleeve because he's missing an arm and he uses it to erase the board.
I know,
was
and then
like-
just throws it back at him too. Just like, what a dick, dude.
and the chalk noise was just like. Ugh.
I know. I know it was just the part of the movie, but I was still just like,
Yeah, please stop it.
I can't even honestly. I can't touch a chalkboard without like.
Something about it, man. I can't fucking do it. Like, just the idea of
I know,
touching
just-
a chalkboard gives me like the willies.
Just thinking of a chalkboard without the chalk, I can't even
Yeah.
touch the board without it. Just it's awful. I don't know what the hell that. Whoever made that, what the hell? What the
fuck's
hell,
wrong
man?
with
Chalk is for sidewalks.
When like it's crazy because when you watch the movie, when you've seen it and you watch it back, spoiler alert, it's obvious that the judge is a cartoon because when he first dips the shoe, he wears the glove.
Well, okay, so I thought about that. Like, would you really want to put your hand in like benzene and turpentine and
I mean,
like
you probably
paint thinner?
wouldn't. But in this part, when Eddie knocks over the barrel, he steps back because he doesn't like let him touch his shoes.
Yeah, but everybody
Which is-
steps back too.
Yeah, I mean it's
Because
a green
I was
liquid.
again I was doing the same thing because I'm trying to figure out like if there were any spots, and like the only parts I could think of were the dip stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
because like later on in the movie, Eddie's running through it, but made no big deal. So it's like it's like he's like trying to avoid it at all costs because
Yeah.
it would kill him.
yeah,
But once again, like there was that fucking great classic cartoon comedy when Eddie's like, doesn't a tune get a last like request? Like, you want this this shot? He's like, no, I don't. He's like, yes, you do. No, I don't. No, you
Yeah.
don't. Yes, I do. No, you don't. Yes, I do. Like, just like it's that
I told you I do, and now I do.
yeah. Yeah, it's such a
See, and then all of that too, just like how everybody's like getting blown back.
and how Roger's like smashing the plates on his head. Like once again, it was just a mechanism that was doing that, and then brilliant Bob Hoskins has to pretend to catch a rabbit above a barrel. Like,
Well, same with Christopher Lloyd. He's got to sit there pretending to try and shove him into the barrel.
yeah, they did really good. Like the miming classes paid off. Like,
Well, yeah, even when he picks up that shoe, because
Yeah.
I like that's still like when I'm watching that scene, because I'm like, oh man, this is gonna look so fake, and then he just goes and grabs it. and
Yeah.
it just does not. It looks real, and he
and
goes.
when
and-
they animate it, like it's like around his finger, his
Yeah.
fingers around it. Like it's
it's amazing. That's really the only word for it.
so yeah. They're back at the theater. They escape and they're trying to lay low. And I like how they're watching a Goofy cartoon. He's like, nobody takes a beating like Goofy. He's a master.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've ever seen Goofy
He
gets
does
his
take a
ass
beating.
beat.
But like this shot and like there's other shots in it, like these tunes have like backlighting against them. There's like light wrapping around them. So once again, it shows that they're like in the real world because like there's a projector.
Yeah.
And then even earlier on, Jessica Rabbit walks through a giant lit up door and it's like wrapping around her, which is like it's just fucking crazy. And her dress, like while she's moving, it's sparkling around when
Yeah.
she's like on stage. Like that had to be fucking hard to animate. Like, and then like the lights going through her dress so you can see her leg. Like it's just this.
Yeah, it's
whole-
what's crazy about it is it's not a super long scene, but it was probably such, like you said, a pain in the ass to animate that. But I bet you like the animators like at the end like getting to sit back and like watch it were like,
Oh
fuck yeah.
They're like,
Look
dude,
at that
this
shit.
is fucking great. I did that. I fucking did that.
Look at that. Like you see, look at them legs.
It's great. Like I got so caught up in the movie that I went from the note of my uncle has a probate problem to the bullets, the animated bullets. So there's a whole chunk of the movie I didn't take notes for because I was just like, I bro, this is so great. Like, because Eddie
All right, so
and
I'm
Roger go
after
back
the,
to the rabbit to the office,
Yeah.
and like, they like go to break in, and I like how Roger's like, yeah, watch your back and everything like that, and just pan on the head, and how like a whole pan can fit in Jessica Rabbit's purse.
I know. I just
like,
again tune stuff.
physics, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was so cool. Like, this movie is also a
We
great...
skipped the part where they escape the bar, and they
oh
get the
yeah,
car.
because they go in the cab, the cabbie.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about the fucking cab. There's so
Yeah,
much to
because
this fucking movie.
they try and escape in the Weasels car,
Mm-hmm.
and they
Benny
can't.
the cab
and,
is in the back.
Yeah. Benny, is that you?
I like how his tires are always kind of flat,
No.
and when they're running away, I like when he's like, pull the levers, like, which one? And then that sign comes out. It's like,
This
this
one's
lever.
stupid. The only lever that's there.
Which lever? This one's stupid. Yeah, Benny was great. He's such a fucking
But
cool
I did
character.
get sucked into this too because I have the tune gun next.
So like they go back to the office, and
Oh, yeah,
because they're
and that's-
uncovering like because
What's his name gets shot too.
Mm-hmm.
He
With
gets
a very long pistol.
Yeah. I'm like, gee, what's with the? Okay, it doesn't matter.
over
I
the
guess.
top, you know.
Well, yeah, it has to be. But then he sees Jessica Rabbit running away, so he thinks, oh, what, why?
Once
and then,
again,
you know,
like, this movie is also a great noir, which is like what
Yeah.
it's supposed to be. It's in the 40s. It's a noir. It's like them solving a crime. So like through the whole thing, you don't trust her because she gives you no reason.
yeah,
And that's beautiful because you're like, oh, it's obviously her. And it's just like, no, she's just running away at that moment. When he's chasing Roger and he goes to the edge of Toontown, the tunnel, that tunnel was also used in Back to the Future too. If you notice, it was the end part
yeah.
with Biff. Once again, I don't know why I noticed landmarks where they film stuff, but yeah, that's the end where Biff and Marty are like, you know, trying to get the almanac, and it's the car thing. That's the same tunnel.
God damn.
Yeah, which Robert Zemeckis did. So he did Back to the Future.
But that's
Just a little
when
movie.
when he pulls out his tune gun.
Yeah, by Yosemite Sam. And like, the bullets are alive. Do they come back? When
I know
he
because
fires
I
them,
know
they,
when you like fire a bullet, it loses its casing. So
but they still have it. They still have their
I know. I'm like, well,
casings.
what's the deal with these bullets?
Yeah,
Well, they're tune bullets.
But can they come back? Because they fly and they stop and they're sentient and they can change direction. So like,
Yeah. So where'd the Native American one go?
yeah, because he shot the bottle and they
That's
just
so
left.
cool
He's
though
like,
too,
"Dude,
and he just like
where-"
whips out that axe, and just
instead
like
of actually just flying through it like a bullet, he just like
Yeah.
smashes it with like a tomahawk.
sick.
But yeah, then there's Eddie and fucking Toontown, dude. Like Toontown was just fucking hilarious and great. Because
Dude,
like,
it'd be fun to hang out there. Although I wouldn't
like-
want to get anvils dropped on my head all the time.
but how cartoon physics now like work on Eddie.
Yeah, if you're
Like he's like
Do you think
like,
that like it just works like that if you're human and you go there?
yeah, because it's just
So you
a
can't really
different
die. You
era.
can just be like a.
like, I'm sure you could probably die.
Because I mean, like, well, I mean, even after this, he falls out of a.
whole like it smashes his body and then he's
Yeah.
like back to normal again. So like obviously
Well, yeah, because Droopy stops it and he goes flying to the ceiling, and then I love how he falls out of.
yeah, like face first, like hanging by his feet, face first on his stomach. So like that stunt looked like it fucking hurt. Like smash face and then your feet hit the ground. Like that fucking hurts, dude.
Right. Have a good day, sir.
Have a good day, sir. Going up, sir.
Like how
Have it-
close
I like-
he is to like having his
And-
face. cut
Yeah, I
out.
was about to say the same thing. I just like whoop, like fucking close.
Just like weird cartoon stuff.
Have a nice day, sir.
The I don't know why this has stuck with me since I was a kid, and I still say it for some reason. But when it was Nina, and she goes, "A man!" Like I don't know why to this day, for some reason, when I see like guys or something that go, "A man," I don't know why. Like stupid stuff like that's burned into my head for the rest of fucking time.
Yep. I like that though.
Yeah, and then like the cartoon physics again is like he's I love that shot too.
I do too, and I love how like Tweety's an asshole.
Dude,
By the
yeah,
way,
he's always
like
been
what
a
the
fucking asshole.
hell?
Like Tweety was always so fucking mean to Sylvester. Like, yeah, Sylvester's trying to eat him, but Tweety's always been a fucking dick. Like, fuck that guy.
I know, but I know, and he's like, it's like why? I mean, I feel like the only reason that Tweety would do something like this in Toontown is because he knows he's not going to die.
Mm-hmm.
But I like how the buildings watch him fall as he goes down.
And I like how, like a
Also,
like a
how is he holding
cartoon-
on with one pinky?
Yeah, see, it's cartoon physics. Like he can't fucking fall, or like he's got that like infinite grip.
Yeah.
Oh man, the picture didn't save on here, but I had a picture of them all falling with like Daffy or Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny, and just how long he's falling, because it's like
I know.
that
It's like-
cartoon thing where like when they're running through a house and it's just the same spot over and over, so it's like the same thing.
Well, you
He's
can
falling
you
for
fall
an
as long as
eternity.
like you fall until the gag happens, and then
Yeah,
you hit
it's
the
kind of
ground.
like when like Roger couldn't
'Cause
get
they
out
go
of the
through that
cuffs until it was
whole-
funny.
Yeah, and they do that whole thing with the spare.
Yeah, are you sure you want it?
I don't
The
think
time-
he wants it.
Oh, no.
I know, I love that, and it makes me laugh every time, even though I've seen it before.
Yeah, because he's such a good like comedic actor, which is funny because you don't think Bob Hoskins would be. He does like such like serious kind of roles, and then like he just got to be like goofy in this, like especially during like Toontown scenes and later on. But there was that funny bit. He's in the alley, and like his like shadow turns and like talks to him. Like,
Oh,
it
because
was,
he
like-
sneezes.
Yeah, he's like,
Achoo,
"Gesundheit."
Gesundheit. Thank
Yeah,
you.
and I was like, oh, that's fucking great. It's like another funny cartoon thing of like your shadows like in a
And the other like tune thing when he does make it to the ground and Nina comes running at him and he just like rips that thing in half
Yeah.
and throws it against the
and
wall and she,
slams into the wall.
of course, tune logic.
Yep.
You keep following the little line.
Mm-hmm. But then I think Eddie and Jessica get caught by the Weasels, right? Somehow I don't remember.
He finds her. She looks like she's gonna shoot him.
But she
And-
saves him.
Yeah, because she goes, "Hey, Valiant!" And he turns around. She's holding a gun toward him, and he's
Mhm.
like, "Didn't think it would go down." And I think he says something like that. I didn't think I would end up like this in Toontown.
Yeah,
And then behind you, pow! And then you see Doom running off,
yeah.
and that's when it all starts coming together. You're like,
Oh. But even like
and then they go back out, find out Roger is not asleep, and he took the car, and he's
Mhm.
smashing everything up pretty much. And then
they get to take.
what's cool about this next scene is they're go, oh well, we got to go down this way, and he goes, no, we got to go down Gingerbread Lane.
Yeah,
and then
and
the cab
'cause-
comes
yeah,
because the
'cause
cab had
all
told him,
Benny
oh, if you ever
said-
need me again, just put out your thumb.
Yeah, and then boom shows up. I also want to bring up the fact that like Eddie holds a cartoon gun. So earlier
yeah.
the Weasels are holding a real gun. He's holding a cartoon gun. I love how they fucking like flop that. So like they can interact with Toon stuff too. I mean, obviously they're interacting with Toons the whole movie. They're grabbing him and stuff. But I like that little switch where he's got a cartoon gun.
Yeah.
So then they're on the chase. The judge puts dip on the road, and Benny's tires pop, and they crash into that pole.
Mm-hmm.
And when it shows Roger coming out of Toontown, I love when Benny gets in the car and drives the car. So
Yeah.
he's a fucking
Car driving a car.
driving a car. But when in this scene, when the Weasel's gonna reach into Jessica, the booby trap, like that giant fucking
Nice booby trap.
nice booby trap.
Also, like, I'm surprised they left Benny behind and they just took Valiant and her.
I mean, he was like crashed and like dead. I mean, how are you gonna haul a car? Like it's like whatever. We don't
they
care
had
about
that.
the car.
Were they still driving the big Weasel truck though?
Yeah, but they didn't.
'Cause that's
give a
what
shit
they had
about
him
the
in
car.
before.
They didn't. They don't want to load him.
I know
weren't there for it.
I know it was getting to the point of just like, all right, well, we gotta get this shit done, get
We
rid
gotta
of
kill
these guys,
Yeah.
and then I can build my freeway.
Which I want to talk about. That was like watching it again recently.
Mhm.
In my head, I was like, man, this is a really dumb villain thing to do. And then even Eddie later on, he's like, only a Toon would think of a stupid plan like that. I was like, okay, brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like even like I was like, building a freeway like just to get like people to drive and use gas stations and billboards as far as the eye can see. Like it's just funny that like
what?
me thinking as an adult going, that's a dumb concept. And then later
Yeah,
on,
like,
Eddie
what kind of
going,
villain are
"That's
you, man?"
yeah, that's a dumb concept. Only a Toon could think of that. I'm like, okay, fair enough. When Roger comes and tries to save him, I like when he gets hit and he goes, "Look, stars! I'm ready when you are, Raoul."
I love how, like, I can't remember what Jessica says, but when he like leaps over to her, she's
Yeah,
like, "Shh."
Jessica, and then like gets back into serious mode,
Yeah.
like with the gun.
And then
But
gets hit with bricks.
yep, he's following you like a ton of bricks. Boom, like 1 ton. I like how it says like 1 ton
Yeah.
there. But so the judge has Jessica and Roger on that hook for that machine that's going to shoot, dip. He's got like whatever, 1,000 gallons of dip.
Warmed,
And
it's heated.
the whole movie with the Weasels slowly like introducing, like, if you laugh, you die. Like, you remember what happened to your cousins? You're stupid. You're gonna laugh yourself to death. A brilliant thing I caught while watching it again is like there's a whole scene earlier on where it's going through Eddie's desk and like his brother and him like solving Goofy was innocent in the murder or whatever. And then there's a picture of them as little kids in a circus.
Yeah, and it's like
And
their
then
mom and dad.
Yeah, so like this part when Eddie goes goofy and is making them laugh is like a brilliant detail of like how he knows how to flip and take falls and like take hits and stuff. I'm like, oh, he's in the fucking circus. This is brilliant. That's why he's so like good at like tumbling and stuff like that.
I was thinking about, like, I didn't think about that because I was thinking, like, how is he doing backflips? But now that you bring that up, I'm like, oh, that's right. He was in the fucking circus.
Like, it's such a small
I love how, like, when he
detail.
does, like, I can't remember what happens to him when he bounces, like, toward them. It's so cartoony the way just the boop, boop, and he, like, bounces toward the Weasels. I can't remember. He does, like,
I think
a front
it's when
flip or something.
there's a part where he hits with
when
the
he hits
rake
yeah.
and he, like, tumbles backwards and, like, goes up straight again.
Yeah, and, like, the way he bounces is just so cartoony. I love it.
And like the movements and everything
Yeah.
like that, and when he's like juggling the bombs or whatever, and they're like hitting him on the head, and I love how the ghosts are coming out and they're like trying to grab their ghosts back in their body.
Yeah.
I was like, I've always loved that as a kid. They're like, no, like it's so fucking great.
Well, that one, I don't think he laughs himself to death because he ends up falling on that roller.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if a Toon gets like, well, no, that can't be it. He must have laughed himself to death because, I mean, when Toons get crushed in the real world,
Yeah,
they
because I
still
think
come
the
back.
steamroller goes over him, and then you see the ghost come up out of the
Yeah.
steamroller. But when Eddie's doing the song, and he goes like, when he's like saying it bounced off the walls, and he says something, and Roger's like, that doesn't rhyme with walls. He's like, no, but this does, and he kicks the weasel in the balls, and he falls into the dip. I was like, such a brilliant way to say balls without actually saying balls.
That weasel deserved it. He was the dick weasel. Actually, yeah, I don't. The other ones were just kind of following him around.
Yeah. There's a cool thing I want to talk about of how like cartoony and comic book this is. Like there was a few moments in the movie where like they made the judge's glasses reflect, so it looked like a cartoon. It's just like this white like glass kind of a thing.
Like he has a cartoony like look to him.
Yeah.
I mean, even in his teeth, which I'm assuming are not real.
Yeah.
Because they're just so like
big and like perfect.
Yeah, they're just goofy. He just looks kind of goofy.
And like there was that cool little bit, think about right away is when he falls on all the eyeballs, which he does like a cool like classic cartoony and then falls, is he's holding his eye because one of the eyes fell out. Like I finally caught it as an adult. I'm like, oh, that's right, because his eyes are real. Fuck. But yeah, I really like the weird random. They do it a couple times in the movie, just the reflections. It goes like
I love their
judge's
fight
face.
scene too.
Yeah, with like the mallet and everything. Like it's
and what's funny is there's like still that like goofy comedy in it where he's like he like takes out his sword and then he finds that singing sword and it's literally
like
just
Sinatra or something like fly me to the moon. I'm like, why? And then he just throws it. Like,
and then the what is that? The magnet. And I love how it's got like the little hands that come out of that.
And how it turns around and Eddie gets stuck to the there's something I want to talk about is I've always wanted those holes, those like holes you can throw up on the wall, and like how Eddie uses it to like cut part of the magnet away.
Like if you were to drop it on your leg, would it just take your leg off?
It might, because I
was like, oh man, that's kind of scary. It's like dropping it right on his crotch.
I think since it moves, like it worked for the cop because it was stationary and he put his hand in the wall.
He's like,
But this one, like, it moved, and then he threw it. So, like, I don't know if the magnet, like, fell out somewhere else in the real world, like another hole. But yeah, like, if you were to drop that on your leg, it probably would just, like, take a whole chunk out of it. So, like, it would be, like, ankle
Like, would it
and
be
foot, and then,
would
like,
it
nub,
like
and, like, the
cauterize, or
knee.
would you just start gushing blood because it would just
I
rip
don't
it
know.
off?
I mean, in the Toon world, who knows how it would work? But I've always wanted those, like, one of the holes just
Right.
thrown on the wall, just like, cool.
I know, it's like, well, where does it come out? Like, what if you put your head in there?
Crazy detail, as this movie is full of them, is when you find out the judge is a Toon and it's the one that killed his brother. He's like, because he had a voice that sounded just like this. And, like, I like how his eyes,
yes,
like, turn to, like, daggers.
the daggers.
When he has the saw, and the saw turns on, it actually, like, causes air in his, like, coat moves.
Yeah.
And then when he gets it closer to
love it.
Eddie, it's starting to, like, move his clothes too. Like, fucking
God, I
brilliant
love that part.
detail. It's like, this movie, like, could have been in 3D. There's so many, like,
I love
moments
that.
where
And
it's,
like the
coming
where
towards
he
the
like
camera.
like when he takes it out and he looks at it and it just goes like whoosh,
Yeah.
whoosh, and it just gets bigger.
Yeah.
It's like ridiculously oversized. This makes it even
It's,
more
like,
scary, and then just
grinding
cuts.
on stuff and, like, sparks flying and stuff like that. Like, it's just one of the millions of details in this movie to make this, like, grounded in reality that Toons
But yeah, when he like
exist
holds
with
his hand
people.
up and he pulls off his glove and it's just that anvil.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool too. Like, and then bam.
Yeah.
And then to give like that much weight to an anvil that's not really there, and make it look real, where he just goes flying back, like that had to hurt.
Yeah.
So like, okay, if you get hurt by a Toon in the real world, does it must cause
hurts
like
you.
a decent amount of pain?
Yeah, because, like, I mean, you're still getting punched. So, like, it's like when you cross into Toontown, does the physics change in your body? Because,
you
like,
can-
he was able to, like, get smushed, but in the real world, like, you get punched by an anvil and you're gonna be, like, coughing up blood because, like, a few ribs are broken.
Yeah.
So, like, it's just so. I have so many questions, like, scientifically about this, but, like, does it ruin it? Probably, but it's like I'm just
Probably a
so
little.
fucking curious of, like, yeah,
Because
you
like
get-
if that was the case, he probably would have killed him with that fucking anvil.
Oh yeah, I mean the saw would have cut him up too. Like it's
How does he get
you're
away from
in
the saw
danger.
again?
I
Oh.
forgot what he does. Doesn't he? He pours.
He gets
like,
hit with the dip in that part, right? Because it blasts him back. Because we skipped the whole part where he gets crushed by the.
Oh yeah, and then he,
'Cause
like,
that's, like,
that's
the
how
end
you
of the
find
scene.
out. Yeah, that
Yeah.
he was because when they do that fight, he gets his
He's a
hand and his
Toon?
foot in glue,
Not just any Toon.
and then he, like, blows up,
Yeah.
inflates himself. But
And that's weird. That's crazy too. Like where his
Yeah.
creepy fingers.
And it's, like, actually inflating something.
Yeah.
And because yeah, like Valiant he changed the pressure on it, and, like, it's, like, constantly, like, getting close to Jessica and Roger, and it keeps going back. But he takes that hammer and he hits the valve for the giant thing, and that's how it empties.
Oh, that's right. Because he
the
he
whole
takes
barrel.
that hammer and it goes flying past him. And he's
Yeah.
like, whoosh.
Yeah, and it opens that valve and it just empties that barrel, so that way when it gets close to Jessica and Roger, it, like, loses all of its thing, and he's like, "I'm melting!" Like, the way he's screaming, I love. But, like, why is the dip so green?
I don't know.
I think just like a cartoony effect to make it, like,
I
over
think
the
so
top.
because it's already sort of over the top, and I mean that's the only time when you see Jessica Rabbit really do anything other than just be Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's damn.
Yeah.
Which is like very just it doesn't happen at all. She doesn't do anything weird like that in the rest of
Because
the
she's
movie.
always, like, such a cool, like, like the heart, like the dame, like the troubled dame who's dangerous and shifty, and then, like, suddenly in that moment, like, shit gets
She's
real,
like
and
a
she's
cartoon.
Like, oh my god. Yeah. And, like,
And-
it's just so green.
And so with like a Toon that evil, like who drew him? And like so my question is like, does every cartoon that's drawn go to Toontown? And if so, like, are there like just a gigantic group of like horrible, mean, like evil cartoons?
I mean, there must be, like,
Because I mean, you don't really see a whole lot of villains in this.
Well, yeah, but, like, I mean, bad guys exist in any cartoon. Like, you got Bluto from, like, Popeye, and you've got, like, any, like, Wile E. Coyote.
I
but,
did
like,
note. Well, okay, yeah, you got like Yosemite Sam, and he's kind of fighting around with it, but and maybe they're just it's just like acting. They're just actors, and that's what they do.
Yeah,
You know,
so,
because
like,
you
it's-
see that like in the end, there's the cops going nothing, move it along, let's see here, and one of them is Petey, and that bigger like dog looking one. And I
Yeah.
know he's kind of a dick in some of the Disney stuff.
So yeah, it's got to be just them
So
actors, because I mean they're
yeah,
filming. It's like movies, but like you said,
and then
like the
but
judge
where?
was evil.
Yeah,
And
like
so are the
who drew
Weasels,
him?
though.
Yeah,
And that's like that. You just brought up a great fucking point of like, someone has to draw these, which I'm imagining was Acme, because he was like, you know, the creator of Toontown. He's basically the god. Does he draw like on a giant piece of paper and they like pop out of the paper, or does he like sculpt them in like
Yeah, and do
like
they
a
have
2D,
to
3D like,
like,
and do they
do you
have
have
like memories when they wake
Yeah.
up? Like how?
And like, do you have to sketch them there for them to exist in Toontown, or can you just be a random person, draw a cartoon, and then it just pops up in Toontown?
There's got to be a magical way. Like it seems like only.
And if
Acme
that's
can
the
do
case,
it.
then why the hell did he come up with Doom in the first place?
Maybe he wasn't always evil. Like, you know,
You
Jessica said,
kind of
she's
don't.
like, I'm not
But
bad.
I mean,
I
the
was
whole
just drawn
thing.
this way.
He's wearing a rubber suit, so you don't really know what Doom looks like without that shit on.
Yeah.
I would assume humanoid.
Yeah.
But I mean, you still don't really know. I mean, because you don't know how much the suit was like.
covered.
He could have been
in
like a really gross, creepy looking Toon.
yeah,
Well, he was all red on the inside, apparently.
like gooey and yellow,
Yeah.
because he had the yellow hands. It matched the paint of the thing. So they kill Doom, and their Toons are still worried about who's going to take over Toontown, and then Valiant sees that the stain's back on his shirt. It's like the disappearing, reappearing ink. And it's
Yeah.
a fucking funny idea. And how Roger found that blank piece of paper, and it turns out to be like the last will. It's
That he
just-
wrote his
Yeah.
love letter.
Let me count the ways. 1,000, 1,000.
That was great too, because it's fucking ridiculous.
And it's such a great joke that even like Valiant makes of like, she's married to Roger Rabbit, and Betty Boop's like, I know, what a lucky Goyle. Like, it's just.
I
this
love when
whole joke
when
is
she
like-
when he asks her like what she's like, what do you see in him? He makes me laugh.
Yeah, he makes me laugh. Like, it's just a funny idea of like this like super attractive like cartoon woman with this like goofy looking rabbit that's like got so many colors and overalls and a giant bow tie. Like, it's fucking
It
brilliant.
was
and
like
hilarious.
very obviously like in love with him. Like when they're
like,
around
it's like
each other.
true fucking
Yeah.
love. Like, that's what's beautiful about
Like
it.
both of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's. I don't know. Well, I mean, yeah, and like apparently Roger is like one of the most eligible bachelors as far as tunes go.
And he's the funniest. He's like he's a big fucking deal, you know.
Well, what about Bugs Bunny, man?
He's Bugs Bunny. But what's great is like they drew the characters for the era they're in.
Mm-hmm.
So like all the Warner Brothers characters look like the 40s version of them, you know, and like it's great. They weren't like an updated version, like the current, you know, 1988 version of it. So, and they had the like original animators working on it. So like Chuck Jones drew all the Looney Tunes ones, and the guy who did like Disney ones drew. I think the guy who like drew the original Mickey like was doing the Mickey animation. Like it's just fucking
Yeah,
cool. how
it's
they brought
crazy.
all this
It's
back
I mean, even
to make it
looking at
authentic, you know?
the picture behind you, where you've got Bugs Bunny standing next to Mickey Mouse, and he's standing next to Mickey, and you've got Donald or Daffy Duck next to Pinocchio, next to Droopy and
Goofy.
Goofy and fuck, man, it's just crazy having all of them there. But I mean,
Is
I
that-
guess it would make sense because that's where Toontown would be.
Is that one
There's
of the Country Bears?
yeah.
Okay.
You got Marvin the
And then you
Martian
got-
right back there.
You got Cinderella right there.
You got Tweety over here. I'm not
And you
sure where the
got
octopus
Elmer
or the
Fudd. You got Elmer Fudd right there. You got one of the ostrich emus lady from the beginning of the movie.
they're from Fantasia. We got half the cast of
Oh
Fantasia.
yeah, because they have the hippos with
Yeah.
the tutus, and how Dumbo works for peanuts. Like,
Oh, I don't work for peanuts. The got Speedy Gonzalez down there.
yeah, like a little guy. It's
Some of
just-
them I don't recognize. I think they might be a bit too old.
yeah, or like, you know, made
Because like that
maybe,
Jack
I
in the
don't know.
Box and that octopus. I love the octopus in the bar though, and I love how like when it grabs the dollar and
Yeah,
all the
the
hands
hands
like
are fighting over it. Yeah. I want to get, before we rate it, I want to get into the technical, brilliant aspects of this movie. Like, I used to watch the special features for it all the time just because it's amazing and fascinating to watch. Like, and I recommend anybody, like, if like go buy the DVD, watch it, or if you want, like, fucking watch it on YouTube. It's like groundbreaking and brilliant, and the time they put into this, like, when they're at the club, the stuff that the octopus is moving around was like puppets. Like, there was a puppeteer moving those objects, and they would just animate around them. It's the same thing with the guns that the Weasels would use. It was just a puppeteer moving like a pistol around. And the penguin waiters was just like a pole with the tray on top, and they had these like tracks in the ground that people were like underneath the stage, like moving them. And so you just animated the penguins in it, and it's just so fucking over the top. Like, it's crazy. Like, and then all the scenes with Eddie, he was just on a giant blue screen stage. But there's that part where he's on a mirror because he's on that reflective tile floor in like the hotel. It's just like so fucking crazy.
Let's see. I'm curious about the budget for this movie. It had to be.
Oh, I'm sure it was like they probably like went way over what they were like supposed to do.
70 million USD. I wonder how much it made when it box office. Oh, I was gonna say it had to have made like.
Oh yeah.
They more than doubled what they spent on it. It was $329.8 million.
God damn.
And I'm like, it well earned. Fucking.
I think because they put their time. Robert Zemeckis knew what he wanted to do. He was like fucking adamant on it. Like, in the special features, there's a part where he's talking about they did a test. They were doing like test previews. And the first one they did, it was like a crowd of like 19 and 18-year-olds. And the intro of the movie is a cartoon. Mm-hmm. And most of them walked out because they didn't wait to see that it was like the not part of the movie.
Idiots.
So like the studio was like, are you going to change it? And Robert Zemeckis is like, no, I'm not going to fucking change it. This is not I'm making my movie. I get final cut.
Yeah, fuck those idiots that walked out. They totally missed out on a fucking awesome movie.
And another reason I love Robert Zemeckis is he said, as long as he is alive, there will never be a reboot of Back to the Future.
Oh, thank God.
Because there never needs to be. Like, he's proud of what he makes. He's like, he's an owner of it. He's like, fuck, I'd want to do what I want to do. Like, that's the kind of directors that I love.
That's
like,
good. I don't want to see a fucking reboot.
Yeah.
I'd be pissed, man. That'd really screw things up.
Yeah, fuck that shit. I don't want to live in a world where there's a new Back to the Future.
Me neither.
Not even a sequel. Like, it ended perfectly.
Yeah, I don't want that either. Because, like, they did that with Star Wars, and
like how that
we all saw how that
We don't bring that up. I mean, that's a whole nother ball of wax. It's a whole nother 2-hour episode of us just ripping into the sequels.
Oh, God, that's way more than 2 hours. And, I mean, I'm starting
That's a whole season. But, yeah, seriously, everybody go on YouTube. Watch how this movie was made. It's brilliant. It's beautiful.
If you haven't seen it, though, go watch the movie first.
Yeah, watch the movie first.
Watch how it's made. And
then go watch how it's made. Unless you don't want to. Like, if it ruins the magic. But for me, it's like, it was so interesting to watch. Maybe it's just because,
I'm curious. I am going to watch it because I haven't.
Maybe just because, like, we make movies and I want to see, like, how they did it. Like, not that I understand it more, but it's like I know the difficulty that goes into making movies. So it's like, I want to know how they did that. I'm fucking curious, you know?
Well, yeah, there's nothing wrong with curiosity.
Yeah.
I mean, they do say it killed the cat, but I mean, you're not putting your hand in
snail, so.
Yeah, but you're not putting your hand in a blender to see if it grinds it up, you know?
So
I mean,
yeah, if you haven't seen the movie and we haven't ruined it enough for you, like, even like, it's just
we didn't ruin it. All we've been doing is like
praising this fucking movie. So everybody listening, watching, whatever the fuck you're doing with this episode, if you like this and you like other nerdy things and want to broaden your horizons, go beyond this show, there's only one place you go.
That's Project Nerd. You head on over there, you're going to see unboxings, you're going to see cosplay, you're going to see all that nerdy stuff that you really like.
It's the stuff that you're craving, the stuff that you didn't even know you wanted, but they've got it.
Yeah, you don't want to hear us talk about movies? Well, you listen to somebody else talk about movies, you know? That are probably better at night. Yeah.
But hey, thanks for watching our show.
Yeah.
That's Project Nerd. Project-Nerd. Don't forget the hyphen when you're typing it in. Go watch it. Don't be a bozo. Check it out. Get back to the thing. Let's rate it.
All right.
Here,
I'll
go foist. This is a perfect movie. It is a perfect piece of cinema. There is not a point in this movie that I don't like. I don't think it ever gets dull. I think it's a fantastic noir, which I love noir movies. It's a great animated movie. It's a fucking funny movie. It's a great comedy. It pushed the boundaries with what it did. It did it well. Like they put a lot of fucking time into it, and it paid off. And it's just great to see like someone's vision, like perfectly made. I'm sure like he's a director, so he's like, it wasn't perfect. There's stuff I could have done, but for me, this movie is absolutely perfect. Nothing wrong with it. I think everyone should watch it. Everyone should see it. And if you haven't, it's fucking classic. So for me, I'm gonna give this movie 20 out of 10 weasels. Like it's beyond the scale. Like there's nothing bad about this movie. It's a crazy fucking movie. Like once again, I cannot get over how fucking good it is. Like how they made the tunes like in the real world, and these people are physically touching these fucking tunes, and like the tunes are interacting with everyday objects. Like it's, I don't know, like
you're
fucking
literally
brilliant.
sucking everything that I wanted to say out
I'm
of you
sorry.
right now. It's like you just keep going on and on about how awesome this movie is. You're talking about everything that I wanted, like not only just the same 20 bajillion out of any sort of number you could ever give a movie, not only just for the nostalgic reasons of seeing it as a kid, but I mean watching it as a kid over and over and over, and then as I grow up still watching it over and over, and it just not getting old, and still sitting here thinking, man, like the amount of time, like you said, that goes into something like this, and how much it paid off, and just again, Robert Zemeckis just, he takes chances, and it fucking works out, and he's done it multiple times, you know. So fucking awesome movie. Check it out, and I hope that everybody likes it as much as we do, because we are just, I don't want to be that hype person that ruins a movie, but I don't think that that's what this would be if you are listening to us, because it's fucking amazing. And for the time it came out, 88, it holds up so well. Like there isn't anything else out there like this. I mean, Cool World gets somewhat close, I think. But I mean, even that, I mean, doesn't that take place more in the cartoon world than it does in like real world?
And like there was always older, they experimented this with back in the day with like actually in the 40s and stuff of like cartoon characters being with real life characters. Like I think there's one where like the somebody tap dances with a guy and it's like an animated thing. I don't know. I don't know my animated history very well, but like once again, it's always a stationary shot because it's easier to put the animated cells frame by frame over it.
Yeah,
but
there's just so much going on
to
in
do
this.
Moving things, like the camera like panning, so then like the angles of the tunes had to change, and just the lighting, like I can't get over the swinging lamp scene alone is just so well done, for the fact that like Roger gets lit up just like they do,
like them interacting with a grabbing thing, like in the real world, is like just, and it's so fluid the way, like just even like, again, I'm going back to where Roger grabs that chair and how it just looks like somebody grabs the chair, it slides out, it bends back a little bit, there's fingerprints, you know, and even when he lets go, it goes and slides back up, and it's just,
and it's
simple,
a lot of the timing, like you said
like
before,
that,
like the timing they got down on this, and just the technological shit they did to make this stuff look like it's moving.
And then
with
when you tell me
physics,
like you're telling me stuff about how they did, like even the penguin scene, which is pretty simple what they were doing, like the actors were doing, but like still like the outcome of like how simple they were doing it's so fucking cool, because it does, you wouldn't, I could not figure out how they did it, because I mean the trays are real,
so it's just a tray on a stick, but
it's fucking cool. And I mean, and even and just again, the animators, the time that it took to make it look perfect, because nothing slides around, it's stationary on their little flippers. It's fucking cool.
And like even when the tunes are running through the street and the camera's running, they're not like sliding and not matching up with the pace of the ground. They're actually like hitting
like
those
their
spots,
feet are gripping
staying
the
on
ground.
that spot.
Yeah,
because like sometimes with animation, like even like 3D animation and like video games especially too, like if they're running, they're not matching with the ground, so they're just like kind of
like there's
it.
it's pretty close now in video games, but you're right, where in maybe a few of the older ones where they would hit a spot and it looks pretty real, and then you can tell because like their feet slide all weird.
Yeah,
And then you're like, oh.
But like these these characters have weight and mass to them. They're like this. I can't. This episode is just going to be us talking about how great Roger Rabbit
What's
is. But
cool
it's
is
great
it
fucking movie.
feels like what it feels like when you're watching it is that stuff is just there, and they didn't that Roger is a literal cartoon that's like all the cartoons are literally there. That's how good they did with everything in this.
Which is, you know, what they wanted to do, and they did it perfectly.
And again,
like, it's
fucking
nailed it on the
amazing.
head. Bullseye. Once again, can't get over enough. Perfect fucking movie. Robert Zemeckis, I love you. All the animators on this movie, I love you. All the
Yes.
actors who had to deal with miming and stuff like that, and you know, Bob Hoskins, rest in peace. You're a brilliant man, a lovable man. Sorry for the Super Mario Brothers movie, but even then, you didn't like that either. That wasn't your fault. That was the people who made that.
Yeah.
Well,
There were weird choices in that.
yeah, there's a lot of weird things like the tiny Goomba heads and
Yeah.
Dennis Hopper being like a dinosaur but not, and then monkey.
Yeah,
like
that's a whole
different
other
movie,
episode,
yeah.
man. Like
I don't want to end this episode on a downer of the Super Mario Brothers movie. So let's end it on people go check it out. Perfect movie. Perfect way to spend your time watching Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And for Two Guys One Film, I'm Dylan.
And I'm Dane, and thanks for watching.
Bye. We love you.
Bye.